tiny island off the coast of Nova Scotia has kept its secrets buried, deep, dark, and silent beneath layers of earth, salt water, and time. Basalt Oak Island. Pause. Pause, where treasure hunters, archaeologists, engineers, and dreamers have come and gone for over 200 years. Some spent fortunes. Some lost everything. A few, it is said, lost their lives. Pause. And yet the island gives nothing away easily. Today, brothers Rick and Marty Lagina, along with their partner Craig Tester and a team of seasoned investigators, stand at the edge of what may be one of the most significant discoveries in the island's long and mysterious history. Not a shaft, not a tunnel, not a chest pulled from the depths. Pores, a boulder. Pores, a single massive 40,000-pound boulder sitting on the western reaches of Lot 8. And what lies beneath it may finally change everything. Not every clue on Oak Island announces itself with fanfare. Some sit in plain sight, waiting decades or centuries for the right eyes to see them. The Lot 8 boulder is one of those clues. For years, it was simply there, a geological feature, unmoved, unremarkable to the casual eye. But to those who knew what to look for, its very presence raised a question that could not be ignored. Pose. Why was it there? Every geologist, every scientist, every trained eye that examined this boulder came to the same striking conclusion. It had been moved, deliberately, intentionally, by human hands. Pros. Think about that for a moment. We are talking about a rock weighing roughly the same as a fully loaded school bus. Not rolling here by chance, not deposited by glacial drift in its precise configuration, but placed, set into position, held there, as later excavation would reveal, by a series of evenly spaced stones arranged methodically beneath it. Meth. Pause. This was not nature's work. This was engineering. The question then became not just who, but why. What could possibly have motivated a group of people, presumably working without modern machinery, to move a 40,000-pound boulder to this specific location on this specific island? P0. What were they hiding? What were they protecting? Over the past 2 months, the Oak Island team had been carefully and methodically excavating around and beneath the boulder, working largely by hand, removing soil with the patience and precision that a site like this demands. And what they found only deepened the mystery, could not persist. Beneath the boulder was a void, a backfilled void, meaning a space that had been deliberately dug out and then deliberately filled back in. Someone had been here before. Someone who went to extraordinary lengths to conceal what they had done. In the world of treasure hunting, speculation is cheap. Evidence is everything. Pause. And in the weeks leading up to this moment, the evidence had been building. A camera, carefully inserted into the narrow space cleared beneath the boulder, returned something remarkable. A gold-colored substance, an object with the appearance of a tool. Images too narrow, too shadowed to confirm definitively, but impossible to dismiss. Bose. Dr. Ian Spooner, a highly respected geoscientist who has been part of the Oak Island investigation for years, collected soil samples from the organic matter found beneath the boulder. The results were, to put it plainly, anomalous. Pause, lead. Unnaturally high concentrations of lead, as high as 140 parts per million in the organic soil beneath the stone. Lead does not occur in those concentrations naturally in this environment. It was brought here by someone, for some purpose. Team Buzid. For Dr. Spooner and the team, the implications of that discovery pointed in one compelling direction. The possibility of an old mine shaft, hidden, sealed, and concealed beneath the weight of a boulder that most people would never think to move. A shaft that could connect to the broader underground network that Oak Island researchers have long theorized runs beneath the island. Tunnels, flood systems, chambers, all engineered by persons unknown to protect something of extraordinary value. And now, with archaeologist Laird Niven's careful blessing and the muscle of a 130-ton crane, the team was about to get their answer. There is a particular kind of energy that gathers before a moment like this. Pause. It is not quite excitement, though excitement is certainly there. It is not quite dread, though the weight of possible disappointment is never far away. It is anticipation, the kind that tightens in the chest, the kind that makes a team of seasoned professionals, people who have seen extraordinary things on this island, go a little quiet, a little still. Pause. The crane arrived, the chains were attached. And for just a moment, even the chains seemed too small, too inadequate for the task of lifting a stone that had sat undisturbed for God knows how long. Bull. Pause. Then the machine engaged. And the boulder, that massive, silent 40,000-pound guardian of whatever lay beneath, began to rise. It came up without resistance. Pose, zero resistance? That detail, seemingly minor, was anything but. Natural boulders that have settled into the earth over centuries, resist being lifted. They cling, they pull. The soil beneath them compresses and holds. Pose, this one came up cleanly, almost as though it had been designed to be moved again someday. And when it cleared the ground, when the team could finally look at what had been hidden beneath it for so long, what they saw was not bedrock. It was not the sterile, undisturbed subsoil that nature would have put there. Pause. It was dark organic matter, soil that had been introduced, material that did not belong there natural. And around the edges of the exposed pit, the suggestion still tentative but unmistakable of rock lining. Pausette. A lined filled hole. Constructed, intentional, hidden. Archaeologist Laird Niven knelt at the edge of the excavation and spoke the words carefully, with the measured precision of a scientist who does not rush to conclusions. The organics beneath the boulder, he observed, were not placed there by nature. Whatever this was, shaft, chamber, tunnel access, it had been built by human hands. Bessus! The door had not been closed. It had been opened. Discovery, in archaeology and treasure hunting alike, is rarely a single moment. It is a process. A slow, careful accumulation of data, soil samples, metal scans, geological readings, careful excavation, each piece adding to a picture that is never quite complete, never quite finished. Puzzle. That process began immediately. With the boulder removed and the exposed pit now open to examination, Dr. Ian Spooner descended into the excavation with one of the most powerful tools in his scientific arsenal, a Vanta XRF spectrometer. The device works by emitting a focused stream of X-rays into soil or rock, causing the atoms within to fluoresce at specific wavelengths. Those wavelengths tell a story. They identify metals, their types, their concentrations, with extraordinary precision. Kiffin pros too. Besides, Dr. Spooner had used this technology before on Oak Island. He knew its language, he trusted its readings. Scanning the upper layer of soil revealed elevated readings consistent with earlier tests. Delete anomaly? Persisting and confirmed. But it was when he turned the device to the lower layer, the deeper material, the soil that had been beneath everything else, that the results shifted. Mimorns. Pause. Silver. Pause. And copper. Pause. Pause in quantities that could be called conclusive, not levels that would allow scientists to stand before the world and declare that treasure lay beneath. But enough. Enough to demand attention. Enough to be, as Dr. Spooner himself acknowledged, anomalous. Pause. Metals that had no natural explanation for being there. Metals associated, throughout human history, with currency, with wealth, with the kind of carefully accumulated treasure that powerful, organized groups of people have gone to extraordinary lengths to protect and conceal. Silver and copper. The precise alloy composition, incidentally, of the Pit Lado coin, a mysterious artifact discovered on Oak Island years prior, a coin whose origins remain unexplained, whose presence on this island has never been adequately accounted for. Pause. Pause in now in the soil beneath the boulder that someone deliberately placed in this precise location on Lot 8, silver and copper. The island was speaking. In the careful, maddening, indirect language it has always used, but speaking nonetheless. Every discovery on Oak Island raises more questions than it answers. That has always been the nature of this place. And the Lot 8 boulder is no exception. Pause. What was this structure? A mineshaft access point? The mouth of a vertical tunnel driven deep into the island's earth? An air shaft designed to supply oxygen to workers laboring far below the surface? A concealment mechanism, the final layer of a security system designed to hide something of extraordinary value? The team has theories. Scientists have theories. And each theory, when examined carefully, has merit. Consider the air shaft hypothesis. If a large underground working existed beneath this part of the island, a tunnel, a chamber, an excavated space, it would require ventilation. Without fresh air, the workers who built it and anyone who later accessed it would suffocate. An air shaft would draw air downward, saturated with the minerals of the surrounding soil. That air, moist and mineral-laden, would condense against the surfaces it touched. It could, over time, deposit traces of whatever metals existed in the material below. Miquost, silver, rising slowly, invisibly, through the shaft, condensing beneath the stone that sealed it. Or consider the simpler, more direct possibility, the one that requires no atmospheric mechanism, no geological process, no chain of inference. Pause! What if the silver is still there? What if far below the current excavation, past the dark organic fill, past the rock lining, there is a cache, a deposit? A carefully sealed repository of silver coins, silver bars, silver objects accumulated over years or decades by persons of means and organization and buried here on this remote Canadian island with the intention of retrieval? Pause. What if the boulder was not just a marker? What if it was a lock? These are not idle fantasies. They are the considered speculations of trained scientists, experienced archaeologists, and investigators who have spent years building a body of evidence on this island, evidence that consistently points not to nothing, but to something. Something deliberate, something organized, something that someone, at some point in history, very much did not want to be found. Pause. Fiona, the team's lead archaeologist on the ground, noted something important when the boulder was being lifted. She saw no signs, none whatsoever, of any mechanical equipment having touched the underside of that stone. No tool marks, no scars, no evidence of modern interference. Pause. Which means the question of how this boulder was moved in the first place, moved into this precise position, held in place by deliberately arranged supporting stones, placed over a deliberately constructed void, remains entirely open. Pause. Pause. We do not know who did this. Pause. We do not know when. Pause. We do not know how. What we know is that it was done. What we know is that it required extraordinary effort, extraordinary organization, and extraordinary purpose. Laird Niven, choosing his words with the careful precision of a man who has spent a career studying what people leave behind, described the placement of this boulder as the work of a well-organized large group of people. A coordinated effort, unlike anything that would be undertaken casually or carelessly. Pause. Pios. People do not move 40,000-pound boulders for no reason. Not then, not now, not ever. So the excavation deepens. The sampling continues. The soil is sifted. The readings are recorded. And with every shovelful of dark organic earth removed from beneath the place where that great stone sat, for decades, for centuries, perhaps for longer than anyone has dared to imagine, the team moved closer to whatever truth lies below. Pause. Ferk Legina, who has devoted years of his life to this island, and who has learned better than most not to claim victories before they are won, spoke quietly about what this moment meant. He was hopeful, he said, still hopeful. And he believed, genuinely believed, that there was something under here, that the work would yield answers, that the moment which makes all this effort and expense and heartbreak worthwhile was still waiting somewhere below the surface of Lot 8. Pause. Pause his brother Marty, ever the pragmatist, ever the one to balance optimism with the hard realities of what this kind of investigation demands, said simply, let the work proceed. Pause. Pause. And so it does. The XRF readings will go to the laboratory. The soil samples will be analyzed with full scientific rigor. The excavation will continue carefully, methodically, with the constant supervision of trained professionals who understand what is at stake if a single artifact is disturbed, a single layer of context lost. Pause. Pause lifting the boulder confirms something that no amount of remote sensing, no amount of soil chemistry, no amount of theorizing could have confirmed on its own. This feature was made by people, not formed by nature. Not deposited by time, made by hands, by minds, by will. Pause. Pause. And whatever those people made, whatever they buried, whatever they sealed, whatever they went to such lengths to conceal beneath 40,000 pounds of stone, it has been here all along. Patient, silent, waiting. Has. Pooh. Oak Island does not give up its secrets easily. Every researcher who has ever set foot on this ground has learned that lesson, often at great cost. The island tests you. It misleads you. It gets you just enough to keep you searching, and then pulls the answer just out of reach. Goss. Pose. But the boulder is gone now. Pause. And for the first time in a very long time, perhaps for the first time ever, the ground beneath Lot 8 is open to the light. The search goes on.